Joining me now is the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jack Dale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about a change in an existing program, our advanced academic programs, that the staff is now working on. Before we jump into what the proposal is going to be, why don't you tell us the current structure of our AAP centers?
Yeah, our advanced academic centers exist at the elementary and middle school level, and historically they've been added not with any long-term strategic plan, more ad hoc, where demand existed, where space existed. So, and maybe you had demand in one building, but the space is in another building, so you put it in the other building and then bus kids over to another location. So we had a task force this last year look at our whole advanced academic program offerings and ask the question, is this the best way to offer these programs, or should we offer them in a different manner? And compounding that, the reason is actually becoming somewhat of an issue is we have at least 3 of our elementary centers are overcrowded, the schools are overcrowded, and there is no solution available. We can't build additions, constrained space, there's just no solution. So we've got to find something to do, at least we're desperate in some cases to try and find some solutions. But we said, let's stand back and look at long-term where we need to go.
And so what did we see when we took that look?
What the task force did was they said, you know, what we should be looking at is access for the current advanced academic program students as much in their home, school, pyramid, feeder, their community, and not have to bus them across the county in different places. So the recommendation is that we ensure that we have an advanced academics elementary center in each one of our high school pyramids. So that the kids who live in that geographical area will have their home school to go to, if you will. It may not be the home school, but it'll at least be the same school they would go to for middle school and high school probably. So that's one, and what we found is that we have 6 of our pyramids, high school pyramids, do not currently have an advanced academic center in one of their feeder elementary schools.
So that means those kids really have to be bused.
Exactly. So they're
way
going
out of their neighborhood.
Exactly, out of their neighborhood, out of their home high school, if you will. And so the recommendation is to add 6 elementary centers and let kids stay probably where they are now, but the new kids that are identified go into the new center in their high school pyramid. So that's one recommendation. At the middle school level, we have similar problems, overcrowding and haphazard kind of location of our centers, but we have lots of kids who we're trying to serve. And so we looked at that and we found that a little less than half of our middle schools currently have an advanced academic center. So, and yet we have overcrowding occurring in large numbers of kids in other centers. So we said, the task force said, what we recommend doing at the middle school level is putting an advanced academic center in every one of our middle schools, so that then when you're in the elementary school, you get to go right into your middle school and then off to high school, where we don't have centers per se, but we have advanced programs that the kids can then have access to. So what we're trying to do is look at these recommendations and ask, are they viable? And so we're going to work with the communities, with teachers, parents, and ask, does this make sense? Do we need some adjustments? And for example, we already know of circumstances where a given elementary school actually has a split feeder pattern into 2 different high schools. So what do we do in that circumstance? Well, we probably will let the kids who would go to this high school go into this middle school, one elementary school, and then middle school and high school, and then the ones in this other part of the geographic area go off so they could stay with their neighborhood kids or their friends and be served in their community.
So let's talk about time frame in terms of implementation.
Yes.
How do you think, when do you think this is going to roll out?
Well, we're actually trying to roll this out now to people and have them look at the recommendations and help us think through challenges, problems like the split feeder, and how do we deal with that, for example. And then what I'd like to be able to do is then have all of that adjudicated in the community within the next 2 or 3 months, then bring it to the school board and say, here's what the community has said, here's our recommendations, and here's the package we think will work for our communities. And then ask the school board to either approve it or not. And I'm trying to do it in that kind of a timeline, because if they approve it, then we want to begin the implementation as soon as possible. Some of those we need to do right away for the overcrowded. Some we have to delay because of renovations and they're just not ready for those changes yet. And some we'd have to be thoughtful about some of these splits and how do we phase things in so we respect what families want to have by way of the offerings for their students.
Right, and teacher training as well.
And then, yes, exactly. Yeah, the teacher training, it'll be somewhat of a net zero. It'll be moving teachers around a lot. But on the other hand, you also want to have teachers in a school that currently does not have academic centers to be well aware of and given appropriate training as they bring the center into that particular school, too.
Good. Well, let's revisit this issue
Maybe in
the winter.
December, January, something like that, sure.
Sounds good. Thank you.